Hi, I'm Javid Khan, co-founder and CTO for CloudGuard AI. Today, I'd like to cover our core service offering, which we call PROTECT, which is our automated AI-focused cybersecurity service platform. The way we operate is we take data from various sources today in your landscape. So that could be anything from M365, it could come from AD and Entra, it could come from multi-cloud, whether it's AWS, Azure, or Google. We can also take data from SAP and other enterprise data tools, IoT, COTS applications, and any other apps that your organization might have within your environment. The idea here is to ingest all of the security event data into what we call a SIEM. And that SIEM today is what we use is Sentinel. And the reason why Sentinel is used for us, it's market leading, it's quadrant top right corner, and it's interoperable with the entire Azure / Microsoft ecosystem. I'll explain about that in a moment. Event data gets ingested into Sentinel, and we do a number of things. Firstly, we have a number of connector packs developed for each of these data sources. These connector packs are custom for CloudGuard. We've developed a library across all of these connectors, and those connectors have been proprietary developed to ensure that we take meaningful security event data and populate it within the SIEM. What we also do is we ensure that the data that gets ingested into Sentinel has been cost optimized to ensure that we don't take any unnecessary data or metadata that isn't required. Again, we save up to 30% of consumption data by doing this exercise, which is super important. We roll out Sentinel in a controlled, standardized manner against best practice reference architecture, fully optimized, and all of that is done with a single click deploy. Once data is within Sentinel and it's into the engine, we then have our own proprietary AI and automation engine, which we call Ansel. Now, Ansel operates as a virtual SOC analyst. And what Ansel does, it takes the event data that comes out of Sentinel and it runs a 4-phased approach to automation and remediation. I'll start with phase 0. Phase 0, what we call detect. The ability to consolidate threats across a magnitude of different sources real time to ensure that any lateral movement is picked up as soon as possible way in advance of any kill chain. Phase 1, enrichment. Any data that Ansel finds, she'll populate into any incidents that gets created from the back of any detection and events that created from detection. Phase 2, investigation. Ansel will conduct a series of investigation techniques, fully automated against a number of rules that have been pre-populated across those data sources and those data connectors. That investigation will all be equally enriched within the events that are triggered. And then finally, phase 3, remediation. We ensure Ansel does the utmost to remediate any threats that are picked up against our logic and against the algorithm across a number of decision criteria and factors, and automates as far as Ansel can go to remediate those threats. Now, to help support Ansel, we have a number of feeds and integration points that come in to help the enrichment, the detection, enrichment, the investigation, and finally the remediation. They come from threat intelligence feeds. We leverage partnerships such as Recorded Future and our own proprietary threat intelligence feeds that help that investigation and help our algorithm and logic and decision criteria to enable phase 3 to execute. We also have industry insights. And these industry insights are very specific to the customer and the industry context that they might be in. So if it's financial services, there might be threats that have been proactively found through a number of additional feeds that we consider as part of our proactive threat investigation and detection. And finally, signals. We have a dedicated threat ops team that look at any other dark web or any other signals within the internet and the dark web generally, to ensure that we're proactively monitoring, and those feeds that we find are integrated for Ansell to use as part of the 4-phase approach. Now, once the remediation phase is taken, or as far as it can go, we then have a dedicated SOC team which runs 24/7. Now, we feel automation can only go so far, and AI can only supplement what human intelligence can do. And with a combination of our 24/7 SOC team, our threat ops and our SOC analyst experts, they'll take all of the data that Ansell has populated and remediated where possible, and will follow the remaining remediation activities and co-remedy with the customer. Alongside our SOC 24/7, we also have a dedicated portal and dashboard with all of our automation metrics and all of our event data provided to the customer, so the customer can see all of the events and all of the threats that happen real time, again 24/7 accessible. So our SOC team operate 24/7, supplemented by Ansell, and all of the data and all the event data being triggered and published within a 24/7 accessible dynamic dashboard, showcasing all of the automation metrics and the human intervention required, working with the customer to co-remedy where possible. Now, a few additional value points that CloudGuard offer as part of our service. As I said before, we have a custom pack or a custom library of data connectors specifically for these various sources. These have all been created and developed from scratch to ensure that we're taking important event metadata and being able to publish them into SIEM. We also have our cost optimization layer to ensure that any data has been optimized to ensure that we reduce as much cost as possible for our Sentinel and SIEM service. We also have Ansell that operates, again, 24/7. So this whole engine here operates on a 24/7 capacity to ensure that all of our threats operate across our 4-phased strategy. All of this is done within minutes, and this is continuous. The reason why this engine is super important for us and our customers is we take away hours of effort from triaging, from investigation to remediation, and we wrap that all up into minutes. By the time it lands into our SOC team, its event data has already been pre-populated, tickets have been enriched, and our SOC analysts and our experts can continue on the remediation and co-remediation with our customers. And our dynamic dashboard is evidence to that, to showcase all of our amazing value and our automation metrics published, again, accessible 24/7. This entire platform and this entire XDR service gets deployed in under 1 hour, which is extremely convenient for our customers. It gets deployed completely within the customer's tenant. We are custodians of the tenant. We don't own any of the data. We use best practice and reference architecture to deploy everything in a seamless possible execution with the relevant RBAC controls in place. This is all to ensure that the customer is getting best practice reference architecture, Sentinel deployed with our value add and our automation layer on top of, to ensure that we are proactively monitoring threats and these nefarious actors on a 24/7 capacity, no matter where the data is coming from, whether it's infrastructure, on-prem, multi-cloud, across a number of different data sets. Our platform leverages Microsoft Sentinel as our SIEM, and we provide this SIEM service to our customers. Sentinel, market leading, top right in most quadrants. One of the benefits of Microsoft Sentinel is it gets deployed in a customer's tenant. Now, because of its interoperability across Microsoft services and other licenses, customers and organizations are able to leverage data ingestion for free. So, for example, some of the AD Entra data will be ingested at a very minimal cost, in some instances for free, depending on your license type, as well as the interoperability with Defender for Cloud, M365. It's seamless, and if you are already in the Microsoft ecosystem, it would make sense to explore Microsoft Sentinel. So to summarize, we take various event data from various sources, leveraging our custom data connector pack. We ensure that the rules and the use cases are pre-built within those connector packs, and that's within our connector library. We optimize to ensure that the data that gets ingested in Sentinel has been fine-tuned to ensure that you're paying the right cost and the right metadata is being leveraged. We then ingest it into Sentinel, again, deployed within your tenant and your environment. We have our own AI automation engine, Ansel, which operates as our virtual SOC to execute a 4-phased approach from detection, enrichment, investigation, and remediation. We take data feeds from threat intelligence and our partners at Recorded Future. We have access to industry insights, very much specific context to our customers. And then we take other additional threat signals from our threat ops team. We integrate that into our decision logic across the 4-phase approach. Once it's executed, we then leverage our 24/7 SOC to combine both human intelligence with automation intelligence to provide proactive care for our customers. We then publish all of that into a dynamic dashboard for our customers to see where they are and where their posture is across their entire landscape. All of this deployed under an hour, and all of this seeing value real time through our metrics and dashboard. If you'd like to see a demo, please feel free to click on the link and request a demo. If you'd like more information, please visit CloudGuard.ai.